I never thought I'd see the day where the United States was so closely allied with another country that invaded another great power. And what happened in the Ukraine war is that Ukraine invaded Russia.
You reversed it. You said Ukraine invaded Russia.
Yes, Ukraine invaded Russia. The Kursk offensive in August of 2024. And we and the British supported it. During the Cold War, it was unthinkable that we would side with a country that invaded the Soviet Union. It was a very different Europe back then. NATO was on one side, and the Warsaw Pact was the military alliance on the other side. And we thought all the time about how to prevent a war. And then the Soviets would leave, and the United States decides 1994 that he's going to expand NATO eastward. The Russians are adamantly opposed. In 1999, we have the first wave of expansion. Poland, Hungary, the Czech Republic come in. The Russians scream bloody murder. They do not want NATO expansion. We just shove it down their throat. Why do we shove it down their throat? Because they're weak. Same thing happens in 2004. This is when the Baltic states, Slovenia, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and Romania come in. The Russians, again, scream bloody murder. We shove it down their throat. And then in 2008, we say that Ukraine and Georgia will become part of NATO. The Russians don't like it. They say it would be a threat to us, especially with American forces and British forces and NATO forces on our territory. But we do not back off because we think the Russians are weak and we can shove it down their throat again. Are you arguing that NATO would invade Mother Russia? We say no threat. This is not going to happen. And what happened, the war in Georgia in August 2008, and then, of course, the Ukraine war, February of 2022. And Ukraine, which is joined at the hip with the United States and Britain, invaded Russia, the Kursk offensive in August of 2024. Furthermore, Ukraine struck at one of the three legs of the strategic nuclear triad. Russia has bombers, its land-based ICBMs, and three, its sea-launched ballistic missiles. Well, Ukraine attacked the strategic nuclear bombers of Russia, and we and the British supported it. Nobody would have dreamed of doing that in the Cold War. That's a prescription for disaster. If you live next door to Godzilla, you have to be very careful that you don't anger Godzilla. Because if you don't, you'll end up with a Ukraine that's destroyed, which is the one you now have.